on Thursday, held that over the weekend, looking okay so far. First target area, which I'll look to book some profits, trail my stop, sorry, would be this level here at 30.169. So if we can get a push to that area, I will remove risk. And again, the end goal, the target for the trade is to swing it back into 32. As we go to the higher time frames, particularly the daily chart, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Massive level of resistance, which initially I was actually looking to buy from. Prior to the elections, I was looking to buy on a retest of this level, but I stayed out the market because of the increased volatility that we'll see upon the election. So I did stay out the market. We had a deeper push down, come back into a strong area of support, was actually flipped as resistance not long ago as well. So I've been looking for the bounce at this particular level, and so far we are seeing that bounce. I don't expect it to go for forever because looking at gold, which is of course very correlated with silver, gold to me has had a really big break of structure. We'll get into gold in a minute. Really big break of structure, and looks like, yes, we might see some retracement gold, but the bigger move might still be to the downside. So if that's the case, there's a good chance silver will probably see something like that as well. So the buyers I'm taking advantage of probably are a bit more in the short term horizon. We're not probably looking to hold all the way back to the highs up there. It might just be a situation where we see some upside, probably very corrective upside, and then maybe price continues down later on. So it might be a situation where I buy too short later on. We'll see what type of price action we get. But so far, looking okay, holding on to 30 pretty well. Now looking for a retest of that high to remove risk. In terms of the DXY, in terms of USD, of course, we're very stretched, very bullish the past few weeks. And price is trading at some big levels where I do expect to see some downside from. As you can see, resistance over there, major resistance over there, and now we just about tapped into that same area. So I do expect DXY to see some downside this week pretty much. Again, we could potentially break through the level, but when we're coming to such big levels like this, I'm always anticipating price to react rather than suddenly break through. If we do see another bullish candle this week and price does break through, I'll reanalyze and go from there. Maybe price is just going to continue higher. And of course, I'll talk about some pullbacks and probably some longs all the way back to the high over there. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity if we were to break. But for now, since we're trading at that level, bit of a wick to the upside last week, I think the market's pretty stretched in general and likely to react. So I'm anticipating some downside now for USD. Dropping to the lower time frames, we are seeing signs of that. Daily chart, bearish candle there on Friday. Not much other than that, to be honest. Not like a lot of exaggerated wicks or bearish engulf candle, just a lot of indecision really. And the 4 hour, same situation as well. Price is kind of just moving sideways here, stuck at that area. Might see a push up, take the highs out, and then a move down. That's a possibility. Any kind of early sellers who were shorting from last week probably got their stops just above the high there. Could see the market go and take that out this week, look pretty bullish. And then maybe towards the end of the week, we have a bit of a dive. So the bigger move for me for USD is likely to be to the downside. So I'm looking at some weakness for USD. Maybe we see a bit of strength first, but I am more focused on the weakness until I see a convincing break above that. Then, of course, I will look more into the buying side of things of US dollar. But as a swing trader, the buys have already done their thing. Now it's more in sellers territory. Market's pretty stretched. So I've got to be favoring sells from here. So 102, 107, 200 for me looks like a nice place to short from. Of course, looking at EURUSD, it's polar opposite. It's doing the exact same thing, but retesting major support. And again, I'm looking for a bounce. I think dollar is very EURUSD is very stretched as well. Big bearish candles in the past few weeks, couple of weeks in particular. And the market hasn't really seen much upside. We had a bit of upside just before the US elections, but not much compared to the massive drop we've seen since September, sorry. So the market's pretty stretched. And I think we're likely again to see some upside this week. Don't get me wrong, it might just be something like this for us to continue down. In fact, I do like some short opportunities for euro if we're to pull back into this low or this low here, because at that point we're still riding the momentum, but at least we're not trading into massive support. That's the reason why I'm not looking to short in these areas. Not that we can't go lower, but because price is testing major support. So it doesn't really make sense for me to short here unless you're on the lower time frames looking for some intraday moves. Scalps, of course, you can take some quick shorts and be in and out of the market. But if you're going to hold a trade more than a day, it's always going to be very, very difficult to take trades or take shorts in these areas. So you need price to have a bit of relief, a bit of a pullback. At least a push into 1.07 looks good. Probably got a nice 0.618 pullback on this leg here. Yeah, bang on the money there, 0.618 as well. So it's a healthy pullback and a much better place to be looking to short. We can look for some entries in that area. So yeah, EURUSD is definitely bearish. If you're looking to short, yeah, looking to follow that momentum makes a lot of sense, but you need price to have a bit of relief first. I think 1.07 is a nice area. If you're looking to long, this is the place to do it. Always aggressive, an aggressive trade. I'll probably wait for another push down before looking to buy, because at the moment, again, we're pretty flat, which is a nice sign because it shows the price is respecting the low, but it would be nice if you can push down and then push up. That would be a nice entry signal to take your USD buys. And you have to be a bit patient as well, because if you're going to take buys in these conditions, although, yes, we're at a great level where we're likely to bounce, the market is still so bearish. So you're trying to catch a falling knife as well. So it's always going to be very difficult. But if we are going to push up for euro, this is the place expected to happen. Similar situation for pound USD, expecting some upside, not necessarily so focused on the buys or pound, but I do like the opportunity for retracement to sell it back down again. As you can see, coming back into some big levels on the weekly time frame, daily time frame as well. Looks like we just about poked through this low here as well, but more or less we're trading some big swing lows where we did see some big swings from these areas. So I do think we'll see some upside for pound at some point. I do like the shorts, but they're pretty far away, so not too sure we'll get there. I think euro looks the more realistic one to short if we do see a pullback. I like this low up there around 1.286, 285. If we're to see a nice pullback this week on pound, I think that's a nice place to short. Basically continue with all of these major lower highs. That high there, low, high, new low, new high, so on and so forth. The key concept is we're looking to take advantage of that momentum, a really strong drop last week, and now we're looking for price to pull back into that. And again, another 0.618 retracement. So yeah, with the USD pairs, there's a lot of momentum to the upside, and I think longs look good. Actually, if you're looking to still take advantage of dollar strength, I think the best pair for that is probably dollar CAD, actually, because dollar CAD, did not mean to do that, because dollar CAD had a really strong break outside of its weekly resistance and a really strong close on the weekly candle as well. So you can see really strong weekly resistance. Price has gone and cleared that. So if you were to come down to the downside this week and come back and retest this, there's a nice level on the 4 hour, which looks good for a long, because not only are we retesting the 4 hour level, also retesting that weekly level there as well. So again, the market is still pretty stretched too. So I wouldn't look for a crazy move of dollar CAD, because you can see we've been bullish for quite a while. So I do think at some point we'll see a bigger, more complex retracement with dollar CAD. But for now, still a very convincing break to the upside here last week. So again, if dollar CAD was to push the downside, retrace, I think this is a healthy place for a buy. Probably again hitting your 0.5 or 0.618. Well, 0.5 there. If I draw it from that low, in between the two, but more or less still a healthy retracement. So I like this one in terms of the longs. At least we're not trading into a big level. We've got a big level to our backs here if the market was to retrace. So I think dollar CAD longs look good. Just again, you're asking for a lot on the pullback, but I think that's a really nice setup to keep an eye out for. In terms of Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar, Aussie dollar in particular, I think there's still a bit more downside in the tank. We're not quite at the level I've been looking to anticipate a long from. So this is the lower. I've been looking for a bounce, 0.64. This looks like a nice place for a buy. Price is not quite there yet. Still in a bit of limbo right now. So it would be nice to see Aussie dollar drop a little bit more, and then that could be a nice place to long from. And if you're looking to sell, I think this still looks like a nice place to short from as well. Really strong low, broke through pretty well. Not as healthy pullback as maybe euro or pound, because we're talking about the 0.5, 0.618. In this case, we're not even to those areas, but it's still a nice level, and should price pull back into that, I would anticipate some more bearish momentum kicking in to the downside to get us to that 0.64 level on the daily chart. Because again, if you zoom out, look at the bigger picture, all price has been doing is just fluctuating between resistance and support. Really strong rejection of the high not long ago, so naturally you expect us to reach support, and the next big level is that 0.64 area. So expecting a bit more downside this week, and maybe we see a bounce later on. New Zealand dollar, similar situation, although I believe we have hit the level. Price is still looking a little bit bearish. There is a low just underneath us, which we may push into before seeing some upside. So the low here, which gave us a really big move to the upside last time we're at those prices. So if this level doesn't hold, we might push a little bit lower to go and test 0.58 before seeing some upside. But the move I'm looking for is some upside for New Zealand dollar. Really impressive move to the downside. The market's very stretched, not much upside. So I won't be looking at shorts at these prices at all. Yeah, I would only be looking at longs. And since it looks like we're breaking through this low here, this would be the next area I will contest that and then expect more upside there. So market stretch, USD stretch, looking for a pullback. That's the main theme I'm looking at. Gold, similar situation as well. Big drop to the downside for gold past few days. We're looking a little bit bullish on Monday, but again, I expect retracement anyway. That's kind of what I'm expecting for the other USD pairs. They just haven't done it yet. So I'm expecting gold to push higher. In fact, the area which I would like to short from would be this area here, 2650. I think that's just above your 0.618 area. Yeah, more or less on the money there. So again, that'll be a healthy pullback for me. We've had a nice break of structure, retest the area, and then expecting continuation. So I like that setup for gold. But yeah, I want to see a bit more upside. And of course, silver, I'm currently already long, but it's because I'm looking to take advantage of that retracement and then potentially might sell gold, at a later date and take the profit here of silver. But yeah, that's kind of my main plan with USD.